There are moments in history when the world shifts not slowly, but in an instant, days that mark the dividing line between before and after. And I believe with everything in me that June 16, 2025 will be one of those days. Why? Because there are appointed times in God's calendar. Just as He set the stars in the heavens, He set seasons for nations, for His people, and yes, for you. This is not just another date on a page. It is a line in the sand. If you've been wandering in the wilderness of your own life, lost in confusion, stuck in compromise, feeling the weight of failures you can't undo, then you need to understand something. God has an appointed time for your deliverance. He has a moment for your chains to break, your eyes to open, and your calling to be revealed. But here's the question: when that moment comes, will you be ready? Will you be awake? Or will you sleep through your own destiny? The choice is yours. You ever notice how life has these moments that feel like they're meant for you? Not just random days, not just another sunrise, but moments that somehow feel appointed, like the universe or God Himself circled it on the calendar before you were even born. That's what I mean by appointed times. We think history is this long, endless stream, but in reality, it's marked by very specific, very intentional points. Moments that change the trajectory forever. Look at Scripture. God didn't flood the earth on a random Tuesday. He didn't part the Red Sea because Moses just happened to be there with a stick. Jesus wasn't crucified at some spontaneous moment in history. It was the exact Passover foretold for centuries. There's a pattern here. God operates on His own calendar, and if you're not paying attention, you miss it. And here's the kicker. You have those moments in your own life too. The problem is, most of us are asleep when they come. We're distracted, we're scrolling, we're stuck in the past, replaying mistakes, or too busy chasing things that don't matter. And because of that, the moment passes right by us. The door opens, the opportunity stands in front of us, but we're not even looking. Now, maybe you've been in a season where nothing seems to move forward. You're praying, you're trying, but it's like you're pushing against a locked door. What if, just what if, the door isn't locked? What if it's just not time yet? But here's the thing, when the time comes, you'd better be ready to move. That's the danger of ignoring God's appointed times. They don't wait for you to get your act together. They come, and if you're not aligned, they pass, and some opportunities, let's be real, don't come back. This is why June 16, 2025 is not just another Monday. If you knew God had scheduled a breakthrough for you, a shift for your life, how would you live between now and then? Would you clean house spiritually? Would you cut ties with what's holding you back? Would you finally forgive that person so you're not dragging bitterness into your next season? Because here's the truth, God's appointed times are invitations. They're not automatic victories. They're moments where heaven opens the door, but you still have to walk through it. The question is, will you? When God sets an appointed time, He also sets a preparation season. You can't skip it. We live in a culture that wants the promise without the process. We want the reward without the refining. But every appointed time in the Bible was preceded by a season of testing, pruning, and, let's be honest, discomfort. Think about Noah. God told him a flood was coming, but He didn't just hand Noah a boat. He gave him instructions and years of preparation before a single raindrop fell. That wasn't wasted time. That was training time. Every cut of wood, every swing of the hammer, every strange look from his neighbors, it was all shaping Noah into the man who could actually fulfill the mission when the moment came. Your life works the same way. Maybe you're in a season right now where nothing seems to match what God promised. You're working hard but seeing little fruit. People don't understand you. You feel like you're building something no one else can see. But what if this is your ark season? What if this is God's way of saying, I'm preparing you for what's coming, don't quit now? Preparation seasons are often lonely. They strip you down to what's real. You lose friends who were only meant for the last chapter. You lose habits that can't survive in the next one. You lose parts of yourself you didn't even know were holding you back. And it's not fun. But here's the hard truth. You cannot enter your appointed time with the same baggage you carried in your wilderness. And then there's the enemy. He knows what's coming for you. He's seen the hints. He's read the signs. So he does what he always does. He tries to derail you before you get there. He'll use distraction, temptation, comparison, doubt. If he can get you to stop building now, he wins. But if you keep going, if you hold the line, if you keep showing up when it's easier to quit, that's when your appointed time meets a prepared vessel. June 16, 2025 may be a date circled in heaven for something new in your life. But here's the question. Are you building the ark God told you to build? Are you preparing like you actually believe it's coming, or are you letting the noise drown out the call? Because one thing's for sure, the rain will fall, the door will open, and you'll either be ready to step in or you'll be watching from the outside. There's a moment in every calling where you have to decide, do I walk by what I see, or do I walk by what he said? And those moments usually show up when what you see looks nothing like the promise. It's in that tension that faith is either forged or abandoned. Think about Abraham. God told him he'd be the father of many nations, yet the man was pushing 100 years old before the child of promise was even born. Imagine the mornings he woke up thinking, maybe I heard God wrong. Imagine the people whispering, Abraham's lost it. But here's the thing, Abraham wasn't walking by sight, he was walking by covenant. And that's the exact same choice you're facing. Right now, some of you are standing in front of walls that look impossible. You've prayed, you've worked, you've believed, and still the breakthrough hasn't come. You're tempted to lower your expectations, to water down your prayers so you won't be disappointed. But lowering your expectation doesn't protect you, it robs you. It keeps you from seeing what's possible when God shows up. Faith is not denial, it's defiance. It looks at the facts and still says, but God. It acknowledges the mountain and still declares, move. That's not wishful thinking. That's alignment with the one who created the mountain in the first place. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Walking by faith will make you look foolish until it works. Noah looked foolish building the ark. Joshua looked foolish marching around Jericho. The disciples looked foolish feeding 5,000 people with a kid's lunch. But when God's timing collided with their obedience, history was made. And you might be in your Jericho march right now. You might be on lap 6, exhausted, wondering if anything's happening. But what if you're one lap away from the walls falling? What if you quit right before the breakthrough? That's why this season matters so much. This is the time to keep showing up, keep speaking life, keep taking the next step, because the collision point is coming. June 16, 2025 might be that collision point for you. The date is not the power, obedience is. The moment is not the miracle, the preparation and the faith are. When that day comes, you don't want to be scrambling, wishing you had trusted more, moved faster, or prayed harder. You want to be able to look at it and say, I was ready. Because the ones who walk into the promise are the ones who refuse to let go of the promise. There's a reason God allows the wilderness. It's not to punish you. It's to prepare you We don't like that. We want comfort, clarity, confirmation, but the wilderness strips away the noise. It's the place where you either learn to hear his voice, or you listen to the voice of fear. Think about Israel after they left Egypt. God could have taken them straight to the promised land, direct route, short journey. But instead, 40 years. Why? Because they left Egypt, but Egypt hadn't left them. They still thought like slaves. They still trusted in what they could see, in the security of the familiar, even if the familiar was chains. And that's us, isn't it? We pray for breakthrough, but cling to habits, relationships, and mindsets that would destroy us if we stepped into the promise too soon. God isn't just giving you a blessing. He's shaping you to carry it. A gift in the wrong hands becomes a curse, and he loves you too much to give you something that will crush you. So, he takes you through the wilderness, where the things you thought you needed fall away, where the applause stops, where the distractions die. It's where you discover if your faith is rooted in feelings or in truth. Because feelings will tell you to quit. Feelings will say, God's forgotten you. But truth says, he's closer than ever. The wilderness isn't about getting you to the promise. It's about getting the promise into you. It's where your dependence shifts from your plan to his presence. It's where you stop negotiating with God and start surrendering to him. And listen, this part's critical. Don't waste your wilderness complaining. Complaining elongates the journey. Gratitude accelerates it. The Israelites kept saying, we want to go back to Egypt, and they died in the desert. Caleb and Joshua said, God's given us the land, let's take it. And they entered it, same wilderness. Same God, different heart posture. Some of you right now are in your personal wilderness. You feel isolated, overlooked, maybe even abandoned. But I promise you, this is not where your story ends. This is where your roots are going deep, where your faith muscles are getting strong enough to lift the weight of what's coming. So, instead of asking, how do I get out of this? Start asking, what am I supposed to get from this? Because when you leave the wilderness carrying wisdom, not just wounds, you're unstoppable. There's a moment in every battle when quitting feels easier than continuing. It's not when you start. That's when adrenaline carries you. It's not even in the middle. That's when momentum is still pushing you forward. It's near the end, when you've been hit over and over, when your energy's drained, when your prayers feel unanswered, when you can't see the finish line yet. That's the moment the enemy whispers, it's not worth it. Stop. Settle. But here's what you've got to understand. The fact that the resistance is fiercest right now means you're close. The enemy doesn't waste his strongest attacks on people going nowhere. If you feel like everything is hitting you at once, if it seems like the weight is unbearable, it's because you are inches away from breakthrough. He's trying to take you out before you take ground. This is where grit comes in. Not the kind of grit that's just about willpower, but the grit that's rooted in knowing who's with you. If God called you, he equipped you. If he planted a vision in your heart, he's already mapped the road to it, even if you can't see it yet. And I'm going to be real with you. Sometimes the fight isn't against some massive, external obstacle. Sometimes it's you against the old version of you, the insecure you, the bitter you, the fearful you, the you that would rather stay safe than step out in faith. God is calling you to outlast that version of yourself. I want you to picture this, a seed pushing through the soil. That moment right before it breaks through into sunlight, that's the hardest push. It's dark, it's cramped, it's uncertain, but if the seed stops there, it rots. If it pushes one more time, it breaks through into everything it was created for. That's you right now. You're not buried, you're planted. There's a difference. Being buried means it's over. Being planted means something's about to grow. So here's the challenge. Don't you dare stop now. Don't confuse exhaustion with defeat. Don't mistake delay for denial. And don't let temporary pain trick you into permanent surrender. Because the moment you think you can't take another step is often the moment you're about to see God move in a way that makes every tear, every sleepless night, every battle worth it. Hold the line, keep the faith, push through, the promise is just ahead. There comes a point where you have to make a decision, not tomorrow, not when things settle down, but right now. You can't drift into destiny, you can't stumble into purpose by accident, and you absolutely can't live on autopilot and expect to fulfill the call God's placed on your life. This is the wake-up call. The clock is ticking. Every day you wait, the old life cements itself deeper. Every day you hesitate, the enemy tightens the chains. Every day you compromise, your heart grows a little more numb. And then, one day, you look in the mirror and you don't recognize the man staring back at you. But it doesn't have to end like that. God's mercies are new every morning. That means the moment you choose to turn, the moment you decide to step out, the moment you say enough, He's ready to meet you. He's not waiting for you to be perfect. He's waiting for you to be willing, and willingness is rare in a world of distraction. Everyone says they want change, but few are ready to endure the discomfort that comes with it. Because let's be real, change isn't glamorous. It's messy, it's lonely. It strips you down and forces you to confront who you've been, so you can become who you were meant to be. But here's the truth. The cost of staying the same will always be higher than the cost of change. Staying the same costs you your peace. It costs you your purpose. It costs you the life God prepared for you before you even took your first breath. You've got to fight for it. You've got to say, I don't care if I fail 100 times, I'm going to get up 101. You've got to stare fear in the face and move forward anyway. You've got to stop asking for a sign and realize that this moment, the fact that you're hearing these words, is the sign. Your life doesn't shift when you get more information. It shifts when you take action. And the gap between the man you are right now and the man you're called to be, that gap is crossed by a single step, repeated over and over until the day you without S-E-N-D, Haiti, where and without once only del, die dreamed of standing. God's already opened the door, but He won't walk through it for you. That's your move, and it starts now. If you want, I can now deliver the raw, real, emotional outro to close this whole speech with a massive, heart-pounding call action that will leave the audience stirred. It'll tie every chapter together and push them to like, comment, share, and subscribe without sounding cliché. Listen to me. Don't let this just be another video you watch. Feel inspired for 5 minutes and then go back to the same life. You were meant to hear this today for a reason. Out of millions of voices you could be listening to, God put this one in front of you right now. That's not an accident. You have a choice in this moment. You can click away, scroll on, and keep feeding the distractions, or you can decide that this is the day everything changes. You can draw a line in the sand and say, I will not go back. But here's the thing, you're not supposed to do this alone. This is a fight, and fighters need a tribe. If these words have stirred something in you, if you feel that pull deep inside, then I want you to lock arms with this community. Like this video, not for an algorithm, but as your declaration that you're stepping forward. Comment below and tell me the one thing you're leaving behind today. Share this with someone who's asleep spiritually, someone who needs to wake up before it's too late. And subscribe, because we're not done. This is just the beginning of a journey, and every message, every lesson, Every prophetic call we share here is another weapon in your hand to fight the battles ahead. Don't wait for someday. Someday is a lie. The only day you've been given is today. The only moment you have is this one, and what you do next will echo in eternity.